Hey, what's going, guys? My name's Nathan, and I'm gonna share a story with you guys for my first video. So basically, um, this story happened last night. I had an extremely crazy dream, and I want to share this with you guys. So before I tell you guys about this crazy dream I had. First, you guys need to know the details. So this dream was about my ex girlfriend. Her name was Chloe. I don't know her last name, but anyway, the dream, it was really crazy. So basically, how I met Chloe. Basically, in my town, we have this one of those like '90s um skating rinks for just roller skating and everything. But it's a very popular thing in my town. We have like this one that's still in business. Basically, I was like a pro skater there. This was back when I was 14. I had these quad skates and I was a pro skater. And I remember I went up one time I was skating and I turned behind me and I saw this girl that looked like way out of my league. I'm gonna be real, I thought they were like 16 or 17, but I um I just thought in my head, I have to have to just shoot my shot. So I went over and asked for her number when the lights got turned down, and I asked for her Insta actually, and then she gave me her Instagram surprisingly, told me her name and everything, and I felt like an absolute G. That entire night, or the entire day before I got home, I just repeated her Instagram name in my head because I can't write it down or anything. And when I got home, I added her on Instagram. Or I didn't actually know. I had to add a couple. I had to look for a couple of accounts, and I finally found her account because the name she gave me was slightly wrong. Anyway, after I started talking to her, we basically became friends for a while. I would compliment her and everything. We were friends for about 4 months, and we were basically just talking and just getting to know each other through Instagram. And we didn't really have any dates or nothing. We just told each other like, "Hey, um, are you going skating this week?" Because our parents would take us to the skating rink. It was kind of like a thing where your parents would take you to the skating rink every every like week or so. They would just take you one or two times. My mom was like that, and I guess her mom was like that, or she just really liked going there with her friends. So afterward, we basically started talking for like 4 months. I'm not trying to yap or nothing. So we basically were doing that, and then we after a while she wanted like at first she started like at first she started texting me first, but after a while I would just text her first every time. So after those 4 months, she was like calling me and stuff on the phone, and I would call her and stuff. And then after just a little bit after that part, I was thinking in my head, this is actually kind of stupid. I should just ask her to be my girlfriend already. So at the skating rink, I went over to her and asked her to be my girlfriend, and she said yes, and she was like smiling and everything, and it looked real. It probably was real at the moment, but things took a turn quickly. By the way, when this happened, I was 14 years old, and she just turned 13. For example, that's just like, or not example, but that's just so you know what's going on. Then, um, basically after I asked her out, everything was going good for those 10 days. Surprisingly, I didn't see her in person during those 10 days. The day that I asked her out, I actually kept encouraging her to show up to the skating rink that day, because that was like the one day my parents agreed to take me. Anyway, that's basically how I met her and everything. So basically, um, after those 10 days that we were dating, she just like her friend randomly texted me saying how she doesn't want to date me anymore. Basically saying that she wants to break up because she doesn't like me anymore and all that. It didn't. I honestly kind of like thought I was like, I don't know. I had the whole there's millions of other fish out there, and I'm just gonna end it like Andrew Tate and just say goodbye and never text her again. Well, not everybody in this world is cut out to be Andrew Tate, because I told her goodbye and everything, and I like basically after her friend said that to me, I just texted her telling her that I heard she wants to break up, and I told her goodbye and everything. And I was actually felt pretty happy. I felt like I actually did something. I was pretty confident for the couple of days. And then after a while, I realized she doesn't actually. I'm never gonna see this girl ever again, basically. I'm never gonna get to hang out with her. I'm never gonna get to hear her or even just say something to her again in real life. So, once that started hitting in, I've been getting more and more dreams about her recently. And it's been actually a year since this whole thing happened with her. I've never talked to her since, basically. Or after a couple months, I texted her basically saying how I want to get back to. I want not get back together, but I would want to just be friends again, Classic, like, chud behavior. But I asked her, and then she said no. Just like, no. And I just said, okay, lol. But, that was the second time where I was like, basically just like saying lol when I actually like cared a lot. Anyway, last night's dream. Um, Basically what happened with last night's dream, bro. So it started off like this. I was in my room, not my room. I was at my house, getting ready because I knew that I was gonna go meet up and hang out with Chloe. Right, I was really excited, so I started throwing on my fit. I was probably wearing one of the clothes over here, but I can't remember. I was getting dressed and everything. It was really an enjoyable experience, and my mom started asking me questions. She basically did not know who Chloe was really, but she kind of knew because she saw me with her a couple times, but she didn't know their parents or anything. And then she asked me all those questions. I just like started giving her mundane answers. Wasn't trying to like reveal our friendship or our relationship. So in the dream, after that, next thing I knew, I was walking up to like a park. There was like this huge like concrete sidewalk that went like that. Classic sidewalk pattern. Like windy down the park. And it wasn't like a playground park. It was just like one of those like green areas with benches and stuff. So like after a while, we walked over to this area, and I saw Chloe and her mom at this table and everything. There's like a table. It was like a park with like a bunch of apartment buildings all around it. So once we got to these tables, these picnic tables, it was like shaded off, but it was super sunny, picnic vibes. And I remember we started off by eating lunch. We ate lunch there with like her and her mom and my family. Right? After we ate, it was pretty peak. Basically, me and Chloe were just hanging out. I would walk around with her and talk to her. Basically, we went under these picnic tables. Me and her crawled under these like picnic tables right there, and then she had art like painting, and she was like underneath the table. She was painting these axolotls, and she painted a pink one. She basically had her style of painting was basically white canvas, and then she would just draw the outline of the axolotl and just fill it in with one color, and she filled it in with pink. But it looked like an axolotl and everything. I told her it was nice because it was nice. Pretty cool that she was drawing. We basically did a bunch of crap. We did like some drawing underneath, and it was really cool. And I remember like on this one part, you could see like I remember there's this helicopter way in the sky, and the person in it was like it had a megaphone, and they said something about how they're gonna destroy the U.S. and everything. But then I watched it get shot down, kind of like some like big town, like big state kind of stuff going on. I watched it get shot down and thrown into the one of the apartment buildings, but for some reason, everyone kind of thought it was funny because U.S. The strongest country out there. Anyway, after we were hanging out under the picnic table, we started painting some more and talked a little bit more afterward. Then I remember, like near the end, that phase between dream and reality. It's like the middle where it's like you're still dreaming, but it's pitch black. But I was like almost pitch black as the dream's fading away. During that phase, I did a reality check. If you don't know what that is, it's basically where you test to see if it's a dream or if it's real life. And if you do it and you realize it's a dream, you can do whatever you want because then that's lucid dreaming. So I did the reality check. The one I did was where you go like this, you plug your nose, and then you try breathing. And if you're dreaming, you can breathe because your body in real life, their nose is not being plugged since it's just a dream. But when I did it, bro, I could breathe, and honestly, I felt like the second I noticed that, I thought, that's pretty good. That means I finally caught on. I caught on to my dream. I realized it was a dream. But then I started realizing this is horrible because that means none of this wholesome stuff actually happened. So now I don't even know what I did. I just put myself in the praying position. I was like doing the praying position. And I said something like, I was basically telling Chloe sorry in a way, I don't know, it was kind of weird. I was just telling her sorry that the things that happen in real life didn't the things that happen in real life actually happened. So I basically just like, I don't know why I was apologizing. None of it was my fault. So I just did that as I was waking up for some reason. I wasn't praying to her or God or anything. I was just like imagining myself saying sorry, but I wasn't seeing her or anything in the imagination. Anyway, bro, after I woke up, it kind of felt like low key, it kind of felt kind of depressing. Like, I sat around for like a good 20 minutes. Like, first thing I did was write all this down in my dream journal. And then I just sat around basically doing nothing afterward. And then I got on my computer and I was listening to this one album by Juice WRLD called The Party Never Ends. It's a really good album. I'm wearing a Juice WRLD shirt right now. Basically, that's what happened. Yeah, it was really I don't know. It was a good situation, to get to actually hang out with Chloe again. But it was really bad because it was just a dream, and I don't even know. Like, if I were to, I don't know, if I had to think what Chloe would want me to do after feeling all this, she'd probably just want me to move on too, because I know she already moved on, so she'd probably want me to move on too, and then, just move on too, and then be happy, and maybe find a new girlfriend in the future, but, I don't even know if I want to do all that right now, because, even though it's been a year, I still think about her, and I don't really want to stop, I kind of liked her, So, that's about all, I just want to share my dream and everything that really happened, I hope I get to, meet her in real life again, just to talk to her for a little bit. But yeah, anyway, that was my story, bro. It's my new channel, so I'm probably going to be posting more. Anyway, thanks for watching, I guess. See ya.